Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Chris here. Wanted to bring you guys a little update on Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin on the 4 hour. And guys, if you could like, subscribe, all that, I really appreciate it. So remember how we were talking about yesterday, guys, that we needed that pullback so that we could continue to move up. And that's what I'm waiting for or anticipating. And you can kind of see on the 4 hour how we've wicked up here, we couldn't break past. We wicked here, we couldn't break past. A lot of these little wicks couldn't break past. Then right here, we actually wicked past that 7,600, but we came right back down. And now we're going to have to see where we close on this 4 hour candle. Right now, we are touching, I believe it's the 20 EMA, which is a strong moving average. But what you're seeing here is the RSI tilting down like that. So the relative strength we are losing while we also have increasing bear volume right here. So that's what I want you guys to really pay attention to, okay? Because you have to have that nice healthy retracement. And what you're going to see with this retracement, guys, there we go. Okay, so with this retracement, we're setting higher highs and higher lows, which is great. But what we have to do, we're going to have to get up over top of this 77.98 level right there, and that's really heavy resistance. Do you see this whole block right over here, guys? That's going to be really heavy resistance. So what I was thinking is, due to the RSI already being overextended and up in the 70s and 80s, that it would have to cool down. It would have to have that pullback before we can go and make that next charge to try to get over that $7,800 mark. That's a really big deal. And also, guys, once we get past that, we're going to have this trend line that I've drawn that we need to get out of as well. So we have two very big resistance points, and we're going to need volume that's similar to this to be able to get through them. And so my thoughts are, we can't really make a move here, guys, and get past this resistance and also this line without the RSI cooling down. That's a really big factor. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. Just really plan your strategy, have a plan, trade your plan. And my plan is to look to go long on Bitcoin around that $7,000, $7,100 mark, because I do feel like we're setting those higher highs and higher lows, and it's just, we need that nice pullback, set the higher low, and then we need to continue to move. Next thing we're going to be looking at here is the MACD. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It's good to be here with you. All right, guys, and you see the MACD, we have our histogram, which is moving negative, and we also had that cross right there. So in my humble opinion, this wouldn't even be a bad time, from the 4 hour chart to do a quick little short to, short it down to potentially that $7,000 range, where it could be, right around in here, guys. We have a nice little pullback. So I know there's some guys who are looking at that. And then let's check our Bollinger Bands on this as well. But those are kind of our support or our resistances, guys. Just really pay attention to those. You guys tell me what you're doing. Are you buying, selling, just hodling right now? And you see the bands there? We had that big explosion of volume where we went up, and the bands really expanded. Now they're starting to contract a little bit. So guys, we may just continue to have sideways movements, let things cool down a little bit, go down a little bit, and then make another move. But I still feel like we could pull back to that $7,000 range, close to in there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, guys. Let's take a quick look at the day, because it's always important. And you can see that's another nasty candle here on the day. Right there, we're up out of the Bollinger Band, so that's another sign of a potential, hey, it's time to sell and maybe wait for it to pull back to this middle band, which is around, that's even lower. And I don't think we would go that low, because what I feel like this is, guys, is basically we had our 1 and then our 2 and then our 3, then we could have a pullback to about right in here, and then we could have that 5 charge up and try to break through this resistance over here and also this line. That's my thoughts, at least. So take a look at this. So here's our low, here's our high, higher low, higher high, then say come down here, higher low, and then up through. And we would need volume that's accompanied like that. But right here, guys, there's that wick, that wick, that wick, that wick, and we could not get up above that 77, 7,800. So keep that in mind, and things do have to charge up, they have to power up, because we talked about that RSI, it has to cool down. And smart guys, who trade all the time and who are traders, they're going to be taking profits. Anytime you see a big spike like that and the RSI is up at 80 or whatever, they're going to take their profits and they're going to wait for it to retrace. Okay, not saying that hodlers and all that aren't smart. That's a long game. That's a whole completely different game. But if you're trying to make free coins and you're trying to make money without having to pay for them, this is what you want to do, guys. You want to sell those tops when you see big bars like this come in. RSI gets overextended, overbought. You sell, and then you wait patiently. It could be a week, could be a few days, but that's what you have to do, because guys, nothing goes straight up. I want you to remember that nothing goes straight up. There's always going to be those retracements, so don't FOMO in. That's a really big deal. Okay, there's always going to be reactions. You have a huge run up, there's going to be a reaction, it's going to come back down. Or if you have a huge fall like this, you're going to have a reaction that comes back up. But we're seeing plenty of positive signs here with those higher lows and higher highs, and also how we're having some crosses here in the moving average. And it's nice that these moving averages are acting as support for us, okay, because they've been resistance. You see them over here, they've been resistance. Every time we get up to them, we're getting smacked back down, and now we have them acting as support. So that's a really big deal for us, guys. And the reason I've been covering Bitcoin so much right now is because, as you know, it's the driver of the market. And even right now, alts are doing worse than what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin has been actually trying to make some moves, and it's been pretty resilient up here, guys. I'm surprised. There's been a lot of fighting between the bulls and the bears up top, even with a high RSI. But the alts have actually been kind of hampering Bitcoin at this point. So keep that in mind, guys. But that's what I'm anticipating. That's what I'm playing. And that's kind of where my zones are. So if you look at it like that, you see that here? So think, guys, we pull back to right here, and then we power up through. We have another run like this, up through, and then we come back down, test this again, and then we go back up. That's the way it goes, like a bouncy ball, essentially. And this is what it looks like on the longer term, where I have that drawn. So you can see off the top here, and you see this, guys, how it formed that M. Whenever you see that M and it breaks this neckline right here, what happened? We continued to fall. So always keep that in mind as well. And that's basically the double top that we were dealing with here. And now we have that kind of inverse head and shoulders. But what it looks like, guys, which I really love to see, is that we almost have that leveling out. Do you know what I mean? Like, even when we dropped here, we had that sharp V-shaped recovery. Then we went back up here. We kind of had a sharp one. Here it almost looks like we're putting in that bottom to where we're moving sideways. And then once we get out through that line, then we could potentially come up here to that $10,000 and see if we can make a move there. And we have not been back to that spot since May 4th. So it has been a while, guys, and those, like I said, those moving averages have been acting as resistance. They're support now, and that's what I'm excited about. In the moving average that I'm looking at, we have our 20 EMA, we have our 12 EMA, and our 26 EMA. So remember, guys, and that's how these markets move so fast. There's a lot of people using BitMEX and whatever, and they are, you know, shorting on high leverage. So, you know, and that's kind of how you have these explosions when guys will do that shorting and they end up getting squeezed, and then they have to cover. And excuse me, guys, I just had a spider come right down into my face. 1 second. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I was sitting here at my computer and it just came all the way down from the ceiling, dropped right in my face. And I'm not the biggest fan of spiders, so alright, guys, but that's what I wanted to leave with you today. You guys tell me what you're going to do. God bless each and every one of you, and I hope you're having a wonderful day.